Hello, my spookies. Tonight we have a very special feed drop to share with you. It's a show that's been creeping up my spine as of late. It's called They're Not Shadows. If you love spooky stories, and I know you do, told like you're huddled around a campfire, well, this one is for you. Each episode delivers several real-life paranormal encounters, whether it's ghosts, creepy Ouija board moments, shadow people, or more, all told with zero filler. Just pure goosebumps. It's hosted by Chris Griffiths, whose voice is so smooth, it might just lull you to sleep if the stories didn't keep you in a cold sweat. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of They're Not Shadows. And when you're done, head over to the show notes or search They're Not Shadows on your favorite podcasting app and give them a subscribe. Tell them Weekly Spooky sent ya.
We have 4 stories today, a mix of the spooky and the strange. The first is Genuinely Taken. The old rotary phone, the one we still keep because Sarah likes vintage things, sprang to life. I picked it up, genuinely taken aback.
Hello?
You know what you have to do, don't you, David?
Who is this?
I looked at the receiver, then at Sarah, who was scrolling on her phone.
Well, that was a little weird.
But she didn't seem interested.
It still rings sometimes, mostly from salespeople.
Later that day, we were at the supermarket. In the produce aisle, a woman in a bright pink tracksuit stopped beside me. She leaned in, her eyes glinting.
Are you still trying to close it, David? Some doors once opened can never truly close.
Excuse me?
I felt an actual chill.
Do I know you?
But she just walked away, disappearing down the aisle. I went over to Sarah.
That woman knew my name and said something about a door being open.
David, what are you talking about?
The woman wearing pink.
You're being weird today.
No, she just...
Oh, watermelon.
Forget it.
At the checkout, a young kid with far too many piercings scanned our groceries. Just before I tapped my card, he looked at me with a strange, knowing smile.
The door's still open, dude.
What did you say?
I asked if you had a loyalty card.
No, you didn't. You said something about a door.
Stop it.
I didn't, I swear.
Admit it.
David, stop it! I'm sorry. Let's go.
On the drive home, I was still trying to process everything. I turned on the radio, hoping for a distraction.
The station with the best music.
I love the music.
Best music. Coming up next on Hits and Oldies 89.7, we got some classic rock. And a special shout out to David, who I know is listening. When will you accept the truth?
All right.
Did you hear that?
Some jibber-jabber about classic rock? It's mind-numbing. That's why I listen to NPR.
What was happening to me? Was I losing my mind? We pulled into the driveway. the silence thick with my unspoken dread. As I turned off the ignition, Sarah turned to me, her eyes wide and unblinking, her gaze unnervingly direct.
Time to wake up, David. This isn't your home. It never was.
The world was blurry for a moment, then coalesced into the familiarity of my bedroom. The sunlight, gentle and warm, filtered through the blinds. It was a dream, just a terrible, vivid dream. I found Sarah in the kitchen.
Hey. Rough night?
I didn't sleep well.
I began recounting my dream, telling Sarah about my strange encounters with the woman in pink, the cashier, and the radio DJ.
And then you said, "It's time to wake up. This is not your home. It never was."
Sarah looked at me with an expression I couldn't quite decipher.
David, I didn't say that. You said it to me.
What?
Then you went back to sleep.
Sarah.
You're still dreaming, David.
Sarah? This isn't funny.
The old rotary phone, the one we still keep because Sarah likes vintage things, sprang to life. I picked it up, genuinely taken back.
Hello, David.
Who is this?
Where do you work, David? Where did you go to school?
I don't... Wait.
Can you remember anything other than going to the supermarket and driving home?
Well, of course I can. I went to the...
You know what you have to do, don't you, David?
No, I really don't.
We'll try again tomorrow.
Tell me.
Goodbye, David.
Please.
This next one is a soldier's tale. We were on night patrol through a string of abandoned villages south of Kandahar. Ghost towns, places the Soviets had bled in and the Taliban had finished emptying. There were 6 of us in my fire team, moving in a staggered file. The cold air bit at any exposed skin, a stark contrast to the oppressive heat of the day. The world was painted in the green and black of our night vision, a ghostly, ethereal landscape. The buildings were mostly mud brick, what they called kalat compounds, with high walls and flat roofs. They were crumbling, their edges softened by time and the relentless wind, looking like melted sandcastles under the ghostly green of my NVGs. Then,
Sniper!
One of our guys went down. The rest of us scattered, diving for whatever cover we could find. There was another shot from the sniper and return fire from my team. I scrambled into what was left of a large building. And when the dust settled, I was alone. I was pinned down. The sniper had a bead on my position. Every time I even thought about leaving the building, another round would thud into the wall.
Whoa.
I backed up, going deeper into the darkness of the ruined building. The air inside was thick and stagnant, heavy with the smell of dust and something old and unsettling.
Bravo is your position.
I keyed my mic.
Pinned down, east side of the main structure. Cannot move. Sniper has me zeroed.
We're pulling back and calling in support. Do not, repeat, do not leave that building. We'll come to you at first light.
That landed like a stone in my gut. First light was a couple of hours away. I moved even deeper into the building. My N4 held tight against my shoulder. The interior was a maze of small, interconnected rooms. The floor was littered with debris, the detritus of lives hastily abandoned. Moonlight filtered through cracks in the ceiling, casting long, distorted shadows. And that's when I heard it. A sound that slid into my brain, bypassing the normal channels of hearing. I scanned the room through my NVGs, but there was nothing, just shadows. The whispers came again. Not in English, or Pashto, or any other language I could identify. I wasn't a superstitious man. I believed in what I could see, and what I could shoot. But the feeling in that room, it was primal. A kind of fear without reason that goes straight for the lizard part of your brain. I backed into a smaller room. The whispers had stopped, but now there was a smell. Ozone, like a coming storm. I remembered stories our interpreter used to tell us, half-jokingly, around the fire back at base. Stories about the old ones.
These creatures are the jinn, made of smokeless fire, unseen, but always watching.
He said they haunted places of ruin and sorrow. Then, in the far corner, something shifted. But it wasn't a threat that I could shoot. It was tall, stretching to the low ceiling, a column of shimmering heat, like the mirage you see on a hot road, but darker and tinged with a faint, ethereal glow. And then it spoke, not with a mouth, but inside my head.
You are a guest in this place of dust and shadows, this land of forgotten gods. Tread lightly, warrior, for you are not the only one who fights in the darkness.
my blood ran cold. I could feel the immense power of this thing. The air in the room returned to normal. It was gone, but the memory of that voice, of that shimmering darkness, is etched into me. Story number 3 concerns the daily commute. You know, boring, predictable. The evening train is my decompression chamber, a metal tube that hurtles me from the day's chaos to the quiet of home. I find the rhythmic clacking helps me unwind. I know the journey by heart, the lurch of the acceleration, the groan of the brakes, and the familiar sequence of stops that mark the path home. I was about halfway home, scrolling through my phone. Then the rhythm broke. The train slowed, the usual rocking motion easing into a smooth, silent glide. I looked up from my screen, annoyed. Unscheduled stops were rare. Outside the window, there was no station I recognized. This place was ancient. The platform was made of wood. Black ivy crept over everything in a slow-motion slither. The only signage was the station name, Morninggate. Morning with a U. I looked around the carriage to see what the remaining 3 passengers were making of it, but they hadn't even noticed. A woman across the aisle was texting. A man in a suit was slumped against the window, fast asleep. And 2 rows in front of me, a man in a tweed coat sat reading a newspaper. The massive broadsheet was completely obscuring his view of the strangeness. My brain couldn't reconcile it. I felt like I'd fallen asleep and woken up in someone else's nightmare. I knew I hadn't got on the wrong train. I've been catching the same one for 6 years, and all the other stops were correct. The doors opened, and I turned my head to see if anyone would get off, or, God forbid, on. The platform had been empty, but when I looked again, there was someone there. A lone man standing beneath one of the gas lamps. He was tall and gaunt, dressed in a dark, simple suit. It looked like an old photograph come to life. As I watched, he lifted his head and his eyes locked onto mine. I wanted to turn away, but I was transfixed. A sad smile touched his lips, and he gave me a nod, as if we were old acquaintances. Then he lifted a hand to his throat and drew his thumb across it in a long, deliberate line from ear to ear. And somehow the flesh parted. a clean black line opened up in his throat. Yet his smile never faltered, and his eyes never left mine. He held my gaze for another second or two before his knees buckled and he collapsed onto the wooden platform, folding in on himself like a discarded puppet. My phone was in my hand, the camera a single tap away, but the thought to use it never even formed. It was like watching a silent horror film being played just for me. The man in tweed rustled his newspaper. The woman kept texting, and the other man kept sleeping. The doors slid shut with a soft sigh, and the train began to move, pulling away from Morning Gate and the body on its platform. I pressed my face to the glass until the horrific scene was out of sight. The woman was putting her phone away. The man in the suit was stretching, waking up. And 2 rows ahead, the old man was folding his newspaper, tucking it into a leather briefcase. He hadn't seen a thing. None of them had. The weekend was a blur. I barely spoke. I barely ate. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw him. The sad smile, the nod of acknowledgement, and, of course, the grotesque sight of the gaping wound in his throat. I replayed it dozens of times, searching for a rational explanation, but there was none. And now it's Monday morning. I'm standing on the platform, waiting for the train to take me back into the city. And a single question pounds in my head with the rhythm of an approaching train. Will we stop at Morning Gate again? Part of me is sick at the thought of it, but there's a smaller, darker part of me that was strangely beguiled by the horror, and it wants to see it again.
The train is now approaching platform 1. Please stand clear of the edge of the platform.
We have one more. It's titled A Demon's Gifts. I'll see you next time. They say about 8% of the population experiences sleep paralysis. A misfire in the brain. Your body is asleep, but your mind wakes up, and you're trapped, a prisoner in your own body. It always starts the same way. The top of my head tingles. Then I hear a humming sound. And then I'm paralyzed, and it comes. I can't move. I can't scream, but my eyes are open, darting around my familiar bedroom, searching the corners. And that's when I see it. It's never fully clear, more of a suggestion of a shape, a jagged silhouette standing in the corner. It just watches. And that's when I close my eyes. I've suffered from it, on and off, since I was a kid. But last week, something changed. I finally got control of my limbs back. And as I reached for my phone, my fingers brushed against something. Something that wasn't there when I went to bed. It was a feather, black and shiny. I live in a 4th floor apartment in the middle of the city. My windows were closed. Later, when I got up, I threw it away. But the next night, it happened again. And when I woke up...
How?
There was a brooch on the nightstand, its pin open and facing upward.
What the hell?
It drew blood.
You look like hell, Melanie. Are you sleeping at all?
It's just weird dreams. You know how it is.
No, I don't know how it is. Is it the paralysis thing again?
It's evolved.
Evolved how? Melanie, talk to me.
It's leaving things on my nightstand.
Leaving things? What are you talking about?
A feather and a brooch. And last night it was a porcelain doll's eye, just sitting there staring up at the ceiling.
Okay, stop. That's seriously creepy. There has to be an explanation. A new medication?
I'm not on anything, Anna. I know how it sounds, but it's real. It feels intentional, like they're gifts.
Gifts? Melanie, those aren't gifts. They're threats. You need to see someone. A doctor, a therapist. Hell, girl, put a camera in your room.
To record what? A high-def video of my own personal tormentor? And what if it knows? What if it gets, angry?
Angry? It's a hallucination. How can it get angry? Please, Melanie, just promise me you'll call Dr. Evans.
Okay, I'll call her.
I didn't call her. What would I say? My sleep paralysis demon is giving me gifts. I know what Anna thinks, that I'm cracking up. Maybe I am, but tonight I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to stay awake and see what happens when it thinks I'm under its spell. My eyelids feel like they're lined with sandpaper. And then it began.
This time I'm keeping my eyes open. Tonight I need to see it. Oh God, there it is.
It's moving. I've never seen it move before. It's coming out of the corner. It's just a shape, a dark hole in the room. It's not walking. It's gliding toward my bed. It's leaning over me. I can't see a face, but I can feel its attention, a cold, ancient curiosity. Then a shift, a release. I scramble for the lamp. And there, next to the doll's eye that I was too afraid to throw away, is a silver necklace.
No, it can't be.
Not just any necklace, but Sarah's necklace. The one she never took off. It was a gift from our grandmother. That necklace was part of her, as much as her smile or the freckles on her nose.
Oh, God.
When the police found her body days later, it wasn't there. Another piece of her taken, or perhaps simply lost in the chaos of that terrible day. And now it's here, in my room. And it's not just watching anymore. It's interacting. And its gifts aren't gifts at all. They're a twisted game. Each one a whisper of beauty, hiding a brutal, undeniable proof that it was there. That it knows my deepest wound. And I know with a cold certainty that the game has only just begun.